as a state have lost our first Hoosier to the coronavirus, COVID-19.
Somber news. A Marion County resident is the first person in Indiana to die from coronavirus.
Local disaster emergency. Mayor Hogg sets new directives on businesses, your travel, and your daily life in Indianapolis.
This is our job. We as the church, we are the hope of the world. We are the ones that should respond first.
Stepping up and answering the call to action. Tonight we show you how local churches are filling a void, reaching out to those who are hungry during this time of crisis.
And how will COVID-19 affect the month of May at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway? Tonight, new information from IndyCar about two of Indy's biggest events.
This is RTV6 News at 5, working for you.
Good evening to you. And right now at 5 o'clock, the first death from the coronavirus in Indiana. It's just one of the big, impactful developments announced today. The governor and the mayor of Indianapolis announcing new steps to slow the spread of the disease. First of all, the numbers here. The first death is a Marion County adult in the high-risk category, over age 60 and with other health issues. However, Community Health Network's chief physician executive said this person would not have died if not for COVID-19. The patient's significant other is also infected. In total, we now have 24 positive cases in Indiana. 139 people have been tested by the state health department. Mayor Joe Hogsett also declared a local disaster emergency. That's an advisory against travel except when essential, as to work, emergencies, or to pick up groceries and prescriptions. The governor and mayor also put a restriction on gatherings of more than 50 people. Bars, nightclubs, and restaurants must close to dine-in customers, carry out only, and that is statewide. We have team coverage tonight digging deeper into the directives and what they mean for you. We start with RTV6's Stephanie Wade.
An urgent message tonight to social distance after the Hoosier State lost its first patient to the coronavirus. Community Health Network officials where the patient was being treated say the individual was in the high-risk category, over the age of 60, and had pre-existing health conditions.
First of all, I want to echo Governor Holcomb and Dr. Yoletti's sadness at the loss of our first Hoosier from COVID-19.
An emotional state health commissioner and a somber governor tonight delivering the news that the Hoosier State lost its first patient to the coronavirus. They say the individual's significant other is also infected and they couldn't be together when they passed. A nurse stayed in the room with the patient instead. At this point, state officials say where patients are getting the virus can't be traced back to Italy or China. They expect to see more of this as the days go on, saying it's absolutely imperative Hoosiers follow the governor's guidance, pleading with people to stay home. Indiana received more test kits at the end of last week and are expecting more this week, but they are only testing people who are sick enough to be admitted to the hospital with underlying health conditions. They're prioritizing high-risk individuals, people in long-term care facilities, and healthcare providers.
If someone comes in thinking they have it, why don't you not test them? And is that concerning?
Right, it is. It creates a lot of anxiety. Even people who are well want to get tested, and I understand that. But the reality is, you could have minimal symptoms today and be tested and be negative, and 2 days from now be positive for COVID-19. So that gives you a false sense of security.
To those who think that we may be overreacting, I can assure you that we are not.
Working for you, Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
So far, 273 public school districts across our state are currently closed. The Department of Education is working with the remaining 16 districts to see what their next step should be. Communities are encouraged to work together to provide child care options for all who need assistance and meal delivery services.
And Mayor Hogsett also laying out his plan to stop the spread of the virus. It includes mandatory business closures and local travel restrictions. These were just announced hours ago and will impact everyone living and working in Marion County. Megan Sanctorum explains.
These are major changes that will impact your day-to-day life, but they're changes the mayor says are necessary to keep the community safe. Businesses will close and streets will soon be a lot quieter as Mayor Hogsett declares a local disaster emergency. A big part of that includes a travel advisory, meaning people are urged to stay home unless they are going to the grocery store, picking up a prescription, or heading to or from work. All public gatherings of 50 or more people are banned. Also, bars, nightclubs, movie theaters, gyms, and fitness facilities all ordered to close. These businesses have until 8 a.m. on Tuesday.
We expected this to come this week. We've been preparing for it for the last week or so.
Carrie Kapaku owns Dance Works Indie, located on Ohio Street downtown. They offer dance, fitness, and yoga classes. She says mandatory closures will be tough for local businesses like hers, but she says it's the right thing to do, and she'll work to support her clients and teachers through this time.
We just have to do what's best for the clients and what's best for the state and just the community as a whole. And health and wellness is obviously our first priority, being a fitness and dance studio. So we're making arrangements to move our classes online and to still support our community in that way.
These restrictions will remain in place for at least the next 7 days. At tonight's City County Council meeting, the mayor will ask City Council to extend the guidelines through April 5th. The mayor also announced a new online tool to connect impacted residents with resources they may need. We'll have a link to that posted on our website. Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, RTV6.
Thank you, Megan, for that. And an Indianapolis church is partnering with schools to meet the needs of families during the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, RTV6's Troy Washington is working for you, explaining just how many households will benefit from the initiative.
Over a span of 2 weeks, the plan is to serve 10,000 children.
Our distribution centers are drive-through where families can pull up. They can receive food either put in their trunk or in their back seat. They can pull up to another station if they need some encouragement and prayer. We'll do completely drive-through prayer, drive-through pastoral care, and drive-through food.
Hightown Church has things all mapped out when it comes to meeting the need of those who might otherwise go without during the COVID-19 pandemic following school closures.
So we want to make sure that we keep our volunteers safe, our Go team members safe, the community safe, and we're working with those CDC guidelines. We're working with recommendations from state and local government, but we are going to just make it happen.
The church is giving out snack packs like this one, but also emergency boxes that are designed to last families up to at least a week.
This is our job. We as the church, we are the hope of the world. We are the ones that should respond first. When there is a great need in our community, we can't let children go hungry on our watch, and we're not going to.
Today, the plan is to feed 500 families who pull up to the Harrison Hills Elementary School in Lawrence. The church hopes to be a light in the midst of the struggles being brought on by the coronavirus crisis. Working for you, Troy Washington, RTV6.
And we have a list of all the distribution centers and a schedule for the coming days. Find it when you read this story on the IndyChannel.com/coronavirus.
We've already seen the huge impact coronavirus has had on sporting events. No March Madness, entire seasons canceled or delayed. Today, IndyCar and IMS leaders issued a new statement about the month of May. Sports director Dave First is live outside Gate 1 at the Speedway with more tonight. Dave.
Yeah, and behind me, you might be able to see some construction workers as the construction continues here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in an attempt to get ready for the 104th running of the Indianapolis 500. Of course, all of this goes back to the purchase of Roger Penske when he bought this facility last November and decided to make a ton of changes. But speaking of changes, just like last Thursday and last Friday, there have been a ton coronavirus related. It all goes back to the CDC releasing an announcement that really that no more than 50 gather over the next 8 weeks or so, and that has put a tailspin into sports leagues, racing series as well. Earlier this morning, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway releasing this statement saying, quote, "We are aware of the CDC's interim guidance suggesting the postponement of events involving more than 50 over the next 8 weeks. Our priority is to do our part in protecting the public health while still conducting the 104th Indianapolis 500 as scheduled on May 24th. This continues to be a dynamic situation which we are monitoring constantly in coordination with the federal, state, local, and public health officials. We are planning for all contingencies and will be prepared to run the Grand Prix and the 500 as the COVID-19 situation permits." And news as well from the NFL draft, at least for now. The league is saying that it's starts April 23rd through the 25th. Draft schedule is still on. Still has it on the calendar. Still going to be in Las Vegas. However, the public events will not take place. So the process itself will still happen. Still going to be televised. The league is looking into some innovative options as to how it's going to be conducted, but the draft is still on schedule, televised, by the way, right here on RTV6 and ABC. All of this says that the legal tampering phase of the league calendar is now underway. Speculation about whether or not the Colts will pick up quarterback Phillip Rivers from the San Diego Chargers. They did, though, make a late trade today, trading their first-round draft pick for San Francisco 49ers All-Pro defensive tackle DeForest Buckner, and, oh, by the way, paying $21 million at the same time. A lot of changes, and, oh, by the way, because of what the CDC announced, Major League Baseball schedule has been delayed. So the earliest that they will start play in Major League Baseball will be mid-May. A lot of changes going on, and it really depends on what sports you follow. Chances are it's all changed, though, because of coronavirus. Much more at 6. For now, Dave First reporting live from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Dave, thank you for the update there. Ahead on the Now Indy at 5:30, adjusting so many social norms, and one of the most common greetings is now put on hold. The handshake and the mental shift we have to make.
But first, the Dow plunges yet again, and new guidance from the White House about being in groups.
And we'll stare at the radar this week as well as the thermometer. These are light showers, but they'll get you wet nonetheless. They're racing to the east. When those move out, and the warmest temperatures perhaps of 2020 so far in the 7-day forecast.
Now to Wall Street, and another dismal day. The Dow closed down nearly 3,000 points. This 13% drop in the Dow was the worst nosedive since 1987. Financial experts attribute this to the fear the coronavirus will throw the global economy into a recession. During a media briefing today, President Trump said he sees the chance of a recession. Also today from the White House, even stricter recommendations to stop the spread of the virus. The Trump administration says the public should avoid gatherings larger than 10 people and cancel discretionary travel. ABC's Inez de la Catera reports.
Officials across the country taking drastic measures to combat the novel coronavirus. New Jersey becoming the first state to implement a curfew. Residents no longer allowed to travel between 8 p.m. and 5 a.m. And with new CDC guidelines urging Americans to cancel or postpone gatherings of 50 people or more, the restaurant industry is taking a big hit. At least 10 states shutting down dine-in service.
My administration is recommending that all Americans, including the young and healthy, work to engage in schooling from home when possible. Avoid gathering in groups of more than 10 people.
The trade group for another hard-hit industry, the airlines, saying a pessimistic analysis they conducted shows air carriers could lose more than $50 billion by June. To help soften the economic blow, the Federal Reserve lowering interest rates to near 0%. But that move prompting the Dow to plunge, the S&P 500 index declining by 7% this morning, triggering a 15-minute trading halt. President Trump urging Americans not to hoard household supplies. But images of a Costco in Commerce, California show that's easier said than done. Officials warning the outbreak could get worse before it gets better.
Now's the time to really lean into mitigation strategies, social distancing, making sure you're washing your hands frequently.
In a tweet, the president said his video conference call with governors this morning went very well, but that New York Governor Andrew Cuomo has to do more. The president's attack comes after Cuomo criticized the White House's response to the outbreak. Inez de la Catera, ABC News, Washington.
Now let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory. And Kevin, you're eyeing some warmer temperatures and a chance of rain coming up.
And it looks like we'll see a lot of both. A mild week in general, and rainfall by the end of the week may exceed 2 inches in spots, maybe 3. We'll talk about that in a second. Let's take these one at a time. Our temperatures, they're on the way up over the next several days, and then we'll be peaking on Thursday. We have not hit 70 so far in 2020. We'll have a shot, just depending on how the rain plays out. I think it'll be fairly widespread on Thursday. Even some thunderstorms right now. More of a concern would be the heavy rainfall than any severe weather threat, but we'll keep track of that. All with the warm temperatures through the week will lead to a much cooler weekend. St. Patrick's Day tomorrow, dry. Rain, chances skyrocket Wednesday. Thursday, we'll hold on to a chance for rain on Friday. All of that rain will begin the end of the mild temperatures. Doesn't happen immediately, but by the time we get to Saturday, you'll be wondering what happened to all of that mild air. Rainfall, these are 3 different models, and again, this just gets us to Friday morning, but 2 1/4 to 1 1/4 inch, and you know how thunderstorms work. You can get 1 inch in an hour's period of time. Just wanted to show you that it will be a soaking rain. The ground not in great condition to hold additional moisture. That snow we had over the weekend, 1.2 inches officially. It just keeps the ground nearly saturated. As you look at the radar, nothing impressive here. Some very light showers around Carmel, southern portions then of Hamilton County, I-465 and 31, south of Carmel and Fisher, just crossing Morse Reservoir and Cicero, some showers. Then to the north and east, these continue their march into the Buckeye State. Won't have great coverage tonight. There are additional light showers that will move into Terre Haute, and those will move south of Interstate 70 through the evening. Temperatures tomorrow, they'll be in the upper 40s to around 50 degrees in many spots, and as you go through the day, temperatures will start to rebound a little bit in the afternoon with more sunshine. Say hello to Sammy. Sammy, I love it. Look at those ears. He's staring right at me.
Right at you.
Tony Milburn sent in the picture. We've got some showers around, Sammy, for your walk at least through 8 o'clock. Then we dry out, but notice the temperature doesn't change much. It'll stay in the 40s. Through the evening hours, here are the showers. Hit and miss through 11 o'clock, mostly miss. Then as you look at your St. Patrick's Day forecast, it'll certainly be a different St. Patrick's Day for us. Temperatures starting around 40, afternoon high temperature right at 53 degrees. The widespread rain will return on Wednesday. Rain rolls in, temperature warms to around 60 degrees. Rain and some thunderstorms Thursday, 68. Then you see what happens when we dry out Saturday and Sunday. We're also much colder. Saturday's high only 38.
Up next, the lessons we learned more than 30 years ago when another virus we knew little about started spreading fast. The push to calm fears and focus on facts. Next.
Today, the concern is over the coronavirus pandemic. 30 years ago, there was uncertainty about AIDS and HIV, and the Hoosier teen Ryan White, who brought national attention to the health issue. Only on RTV6, the state's former health commissioner sits down with our Rafael Sanchez on the lessons learned from Ryan in calming fears and promoting facts.
Based on what you did with the AIDS crisis and the Ryan White situation, how do we maneuver in this pandemic age?
Well, it's very important when talking to the public to talk about what you do know and why you know it, and then what you don't know and why you don't yet know it, and what you're doing to bring your information levels higher. The public needs to have confidence that its officials know what they're talking about. And the first time a public official tells a mistruth or gets something wrong, that decreases the public's willingness to believe. And that's one of the biggest problems we've got today, Rafael, and that's that we don't have testing on demand. And we need that. And that means that all Indiana laboratories have to get geared up in order to do the test, and those results have to come back quickly. That's the biggest gap that we have right now. And then you could calm the fears of those in your household who are not reacting well to this change in society. The folks that had tickets to the game, that wanted to go, that are now upset because of that. They need to understand that the decisions weren't made lightly. The decisions were made with an abundance of caution. The statistical likelihood of the virus actually being passed from the person sitting on your left to the person sitting on your right is low, but it's not zero. And given the times that we are in, given the rapidity of spread, given the fact that we're already up to about a dozen cases in Indiana that we know about and many, many more that we don't yet know about, these are the things that are likely to reduce the rate of spread and therefore increase our ability to prevent new infection.
So how do we deal with the issue of people who are irrational? Because sometimes it appears that the irrational beats out the facts, that facts get knocked out by opinions. So how did you do it? Because that's where we're at now, don't you think? Where people they think they know, but we don't know.
We don't know 100%, but we do know a lot. And the way we did it back in the 80s is the same way I recommend we do it today. Science trumps misinformation. We have to rely on the science.
Now, Myers hopes Indiana will receive more COVID-19 test kits. And by the way, the Democrat is running for governor.
And as the outbreak continues to unfold, ABC News 2020 will air a live 1-hour special tonight at 10 on the latest news, developments, and people affected by the virus and the widespread changes sweeping the nation. It will include an up-close look at the Roche Diagnostics Lab, which days ago was authorized by the FDA to make a faster coronavirus test. Roche is headquartered on the city's north side on Good Morning Indiana. We showed you this new video of the Roche test being rushed to the Indianapolis International Airport with a police escort. Roche says the tests are different from current tests because you can get results within 3 hours.
Looking ahead to what's new at 6 o'clock here on RTV6. When schools and businesses go dark, how can you make ends meet without paid time off? How advocates are working to change that problem in Indiana, coming up.
But first on the Now Indy, transportation safety in the age of COVID-19, the steps IndyGo is taking to keep riders and drivers safe. You're watching RTV6.